Tractate Bava Metzia, page 81. We will start in the bottom of 80b. The subject of the Arba'at HaShomrim, the four different guardians, is the core of our discussion today. As you know that, and we explained many times, there is a interdynamics between Shoel and Shomer Sachar. One who's just a regular borrower versus someone who's a guardian for payment. So, for example, Reuven hired Shimon to write a Torah scroll for him, and he makes payment. Shimon called Reuven and he said, the Sefer Torah is ready. The question is, from that very moment, if something happened to that Sefer Torah, Shimon changed his status. He's now a Shomer Chinam, a free guardian. Or, if Reuven, for example, asked Shimon to carry a package, for example, bag of money, to Levi in California. So here we differentiate between a bundle that was sealed, and that's basically makes the other party as a free guardian, Shomer Chinam. If it was open, it's Shomer Sachar, is a guardian that basically paying. So if in between he uses that money, even he make a profit of that money, it's okay, because he's under the category of paid guardians. It's a book, Mishpetei HaChoshen, Hilchot She'elah, Siman Shin Mem, chapter 340. He asks this a very common question. When Reuven rent from Shimon a apartment or house that is, let's say apartment that is fully furnished for short time. For example, let's say he traveled to his children in Lakewood, New Jersey, and he needs independent apartment, privacy, so he rent just for the Simcha or for the Shabbat or for the holidays, that fully furnished apartment. Now, the question is, it is clear or it's stipulated that he can use some of the furnish in that apartment. So, if it's a movable furniture and other vessels in the house, so he's considering a borrower, a shoel, and he's chayav be'onasim, he's in any form of a situation that happened there, he is responsible. But if certain furniture he's not allowed to touch or not allowed to use, then, for example, he locked one of the rooms, he told him certain cabinet or certain furniture he shall not use, etc., he's not a borrower. And that have a lot of application, can be a renting utensils, can be many things. So Mishpetei HaChoshen elaborates in its all based on our upcoming sugiyah. We're going to discuss also the Ta'anat Migo, Keneged Anan Sahadei. But anyway, let's start. So we are on page 80b, 6 lines from the bottom of the page. וכולן שאמרו תול שלך והווה מעות שומר חינם. So all those who said to the owner, take this item and bring money in its stead. So this is the concept of shomer sachar, the paid guardian, which is either the Baal Melacha, the expert, derive benefit by the fact that he that he is basically ordered by him. Or another idea is, I'm not going to give you this utensil until you paid what you owe me. So if he said, come over, pick up your item, and pay me later, so he is now in status of unpaid guardian. Tnanatam. So here we bring a Mishnah, a quote from the Mishnah we're going to study Mitzvah on page 98b, that said as follows: Amar lo shoel, shlach ushlacha umeta. So Reuven, those years they used to rent animals for work. So Reuven rent his animal to Shimon to do some type of work in different location. Now the borrower Shimon said to Reuven, send the animal with your agent, with your servant, and he did, meaning Reuven sent the soon-to-be borrowed to Shimon, but while he sent him the animal passed away during that journey. So umeta, even the animal enter the site, the domain that belongs to the borrower, chayav. So here the borrower is liable for the death. So Rashi explains that the borrower is responsible for all the happening to the whatever the item. Only the exceptions is mavet or shvira mechamat melacha, if the death or the broken of the vessel happen as a direct cause of the work. So since the borrower said to the lender, the owner, to send him, he from that moment by halacha accepted upon himself responsibility, because Reuven sent him by his order, by the order of Shimon. Because if it was not in that case, let's say Reuven initiated the idea of sending Shimon the animal, and the animal passed away on the way, so Shimon, the borrower, is not to be responsible, because his responsibility only from the very moment that the animal entered to his domain. V'chen b'sha'a shemachazira. And very similar to when he returns the animal, the borrower is responsible for the animal as long as it was not actually be returned to the owner. Now the Gemara circumscribed the last point and said, Amar Afram bar Papa. Remember Afram bar Papa? We mentioned every time we finish Masechet, one of the 10 sons of Bar Papa. It's usually rabbis that reconciled a disputations. So Amar Afram bar Papa, Amar Rav Chizda, Lo Shanu, over there in the Mishnah, that tells us that the borrower sent it by himself in his own initiation. He is still responsible for any happening until the animal entered the domain of the lender. אלא שהחזירה בתוך ימי שאלתה. אבל לאחר ימי שאלתה פטור. Here we differentiate between the period of its loan or passing the period of the loan. So for example, if the rental period was a week, so if he returned to the lender during that period, as long as he's not completed the period of the rent, as long as the lender did not said, send me, the completion is only when the animal enter to the domain of the lender. Passing that moment, he is exempt, as once the duration of the loan is complete, he is no longer has a status of a borrower. So there are a few points. First of all, there is in Shulchan Aruch Choshen Mishpat, Shin Mem. You see it also in Rav Blau, Pitchei Choshen. It's a big malach because the idea is he is still considering a shomer chinam, an unpaid barley on that chefetz, on that item, because he is he's not intent to remove the extra responsibility of a paid barley and until the transaction is completed, until it passed there. Let me share with you just a vignette from the Shulchan Aruch Choshen Mishpat, Shin Mem 340. If the borrower sent with an agent the item or animal he borrowed, he retains responsibility until it reaches the owner. Consequently, if the animal dies or an accident befalls the item, the borrower is liable to pay. The halacha applies during the loan period, the Rambam said, also in Ilchot She'ela Upikadon, chapter 3. So he said, this halacha applies during the loan period. But when the period of the loan ends, meaning, for example, if they said 1 week or months, whatever they agreed, the one who borrowed the item now is considered a paid barley, a shomer sachar, whether the item is in his possession or in transit. 81, ha-gmartiv. So if he is said, I completed the work on it, so it means I'm done of what I have to do with this animal. He did not say take it, meaning it does not have a gilui dat, a clear statement that he is no longer want to watch over the item. I use an example of Sefer Torah because it's applicable. This is a question that someone asked once. Again, Reuven asks Shimon to write a Torah scroll for him, and he paid him monthly basis, whatever they agreed. And then Shimon said, since it was expensive writing, it was expensive proposition, it takes a long time, Shimon called him and said, come and pick up the Torah. So hopefully, God forbid, nothing happened. But from that very moment, he changed his status. Because from that very moment, he is like unpaid barely. He's not getting paid for watching the Sefer Torah for you. So they said, Hagmartiv, Shomer Sachar. So the Rambam in Ilchot Schirut, chapter 10 said, all the expert and laborers are considered paid guardians with regard to the materials they are working with. But once they tell their customers to take the property and bring money, or even when they simply tell them that they have completed the work, it's now a new story. They are shomer chinam, they are unpaid barleys, as long as the customers have not yet collected their property. The Choshen Mishpat in 306, and you see the Ramah said it, if they tell the customers to bring money and take the property, in that order, they retain the status of Shomer Sachar, of paid guardian. But again, the Ramah said that if a guardian, the barley, says, take what is yours and I'm no longer safeguarding it, he is exempt from future responsibilities as a barley. And that's, as we said, it's a very important book among many, but one of them, it's called Pitchei Choshen by Rabbi Blau, that he based a lot of halachot on this Ramah. So anyway, the Gemara said, La ha-have ma'ot v'tolet shelcha shomer sachar. So the moment he said, come, give money first and then take what's yours, so it's a paid guardian. So according to this explanation, in the intent of the Mishnah, the moment the owner said to the person, you can collect it, the responsibility change. He's not the same as paid barely. So see here we reconcile what Rav Chizda said. The moment the period of borrowing the item is completed, so the borrower could not carry the same responsibility as previously he was. Aval gmartiv mai, but if that is the case, when one says only I completed the work with it, so the Gemara said shomer chinam, you consider it as an unpaid guardian. all those experts that said come pick up your item and paid, so that oman, it's basically shomer chinam, is unpaid guardian. Nashmi'inan gmartiv v'chol sheken tolet shelcha. So here he said I completed the work with it, and it can be deduced that all the more so is that the halacha is if he says to him take what is yours. So the Gemara said tolet shelcha it's trichalei sal kadatacha mina shomer chinam lahave, that he's not considering unpaid a guardian. Kamash melan, so therefore the Tana come and teach us that this uman, this expert, is turned to be unpaid barely on that item, because when he said tol et shelcha, come and take your item, he intend to say it's not a collateral for his payment, and it's not that he's totally not responsible for it. So again, this is the interdynamic, the sensitive interdynamic between item that that I was responsible because I have the attachment to that item, I need to do work on that, etc., versus an item, and that's Pilpula Harifta elaborates on that, an item that just basically Reuven asked Shimon to guard, to watch over. Ika de Amrei, it's another option that the back and forth between the Tanaim is as follows. Amar Rav Nachman bar Papa Afanana Meitanina וכולן שאמרו תולת של חווה ומעות שומר חינם. מה אליו הוא עתין גמרתיו? לא, תולת שלך שני. Because the one might think that this statement frees the labor of all responsibility, because he have gilui dat, he have a clear statement that he is no longer responsible for that. And imagine a professional painter. You ask someone to paint for you something that is very precious, expensive. So as much as that a painter is attached to that item, the moment that that item is ready, so you cannot hold him a guardian or responsible the same as he was before. But again, in Choshen Mishpat, in Reish Tzadik Bet, Seif Zayin, you see it in a tour. I was studying yesterday with Rav Mordechai Shub in Ner Israel. So he pointed that out because it's important. You see it in Reish Tzadik Bet, Seif Zayin. The difference, the derivative here is, for example, the one we said, if you have a package of sealed money or open. So let's say Reuven gave Shimon a 50K to give it to Levi in California. And he said to him, whenever you fly there, whenever you travel there, it can be a month from now, it's fine. So here's the difference based on that. If it was bundle, it's one thing. That's a bundle money, so it's a shomer chinam, it's not the issue. But if it was open, and meanwhile Shimon used the money, makes the money, or whatever it is, is considering a shomer sachar by all means. Now, the Gemara brings the third option, the way that Rav Chizda, we attribute the Mishnah to him. Hu mar bar meremar, kamei de Ravina, when he was studied as a disciple before Ravina, Ramei matnitena adade, he asked this type of contradiction when he juxtaposed the two Mishnayot, our Mishnah and the Mishnah we're going to study Mitzvah on page 98. Umeshane, and he explained the way that the notion of Rav Chizda, and that's the way he said it. Tnan, v'chulan shamru, all the experts that said, Tolet shelcha ve'ave ma'ot, come and takes what belongs to you, this item, and bring money. So from that point onward, the expert is shomer chinam, is unpaid barely. Vehu hadin legmartiv. And the same apply when he said, I completed the work. So it means that this Mishnah hold, the moment the owner of that item realize that the expert completed his work, the expert is no longer responsible for that. Veramini. Now you see a contradiction between the Mishnayot. Amar lo shoel, if the borrower said to the lender, Shlach ushlacha umeta chayav, that's what we said earlier, sent me the animal, and on the way the animal passed, v'chen b'sha'a shemachazira, and it's also the time that he returned the item. So basically the moment he give it to the shaliach, the agent, he's no longer responsible. But if the borrower initiate that, he is not free, is still responsible until the animal entered domain of the lender. So what do you see from that Mishnah? That even after the borrower completed this short period of time of responsibility, he is still hold responsibility, or at least some responsibility, until the animal transferred to the other domain, which is a contradiction between two Mishnayot, because according to our Mishnah, what we see that after the owner of that item understand that the expert completed his work, the responsibility is no longer as was before. Umeshanei Amar Rafram Bar Papa Amar Rav Chizda Lo Shanu. They thought the halacha only Ela Shechzir Betoch Yemei Shelata, only when he returned during the period of the loan. Aval Achare Mei Shelata. However, if you return after that period of the loan, Patur, he is exempt. Even the animal died. Even if the animal is still in the domain, the house of the borrower. Why? Because the moment the period of rent was over, he is no longer considering shoel, a borrower, and that's basically match to our Mishnah that the responsibility changed the moment he told the owner of the item that he completed his work. Excuse me. We ask a dilemma when we said that the completed of the time it exempted him, patur mishoel v'chayav keshomer sachar, or dilma shomer sachar nam elohavi. What exactly the status you said? He is exempt only from the strict obligations of a borrower, but remain liable as a paid guardian, or perhaps he is not liable as a paid guardian. So the Ritva said, at least until the moment reached that you return to the owner, he is shomer chinam, is unpaid barely. It's important to know that the Sma in Choshen Mishpat, Shin Mem, said that it's still a rabbinic enactment to hold responsibility. Anyway, אמר המימר, מסתברא פטור משואל וחייב כשומר שכר, הואיל ונהנה מהנהבה. And this is just show you the wisdom of the rabbis, how deeply they understand. So they said that since he's previously had benefit, he must provide benefit in return. So in a way, by safeguarding the item as a paid guardian until the item reaches the owner possession. תניא כבתי דעה מימר, הלוקח כלים מבית האומן לשגרן לבית חמיב. So someone in a relationship with his soon-to-be in-law, that was the period in those Talmudic time between the engagement, the erusin, and the su'in. So someone takes from an expert uman utensils in order to send it to his in-law, ואמר לו, אם מקבלין אותן ממני, אני נותן לך דמיהן. Accepted upon it, give you the value. ואם לאו, if they refuse to take, אני נותן לך לפי טובת הנאה שבהן. So I'll give it to you by according with the financial advantage I receive from them, which is, I'll pay you the benefit that I occurred through their knowledge that I tried to send them as a gift. So they said, Vene ensu. And unfortunately, accident happened to the vessels, and they were broken. So, וננסו בהליכה חייב, בחזרה פטור. So here we differentiate. If they broke on the way back, so he is exempt. But if it's on the way to the recipient, the customer is liable. So why is exempt when it's the way back? מפני שהוא כנושא שכר. Is like a paid guardian who is not responsible, who is not liable for accidents. So if these individuals who pays for the financial advantage he received is considered a paid guardian, but how much so should this apply to a borrower who returned the item after the period of the loan? That's basically the view of Ameimar, as he said that he is not offered to pay anything. Hahu gavra de zabin lei chamara lechavre. So a fellow sold donkey to his to another fellow. Always people mix. Chamara can be two different directions in Aramaic language. Can be a donkey and can be wine. Here is a donkey. A fellow sold donkey to his another fellow. Amar lei, the buyer said to the seller, Kam mamtinan lei leduchta ploni. I take this donkey to so-and-so location in order to sell it over there. And he said, I mizdabana mutav. If I'll be able to sell that donkey over there, fine. V'lo, but if it's not, mehadran alei nihalich. So here you see a very clear conditional sale, that if I'll be able to sell it, awesome. If I'm not able to sell it, it's all null and void. So therefore, we just learned about the fellow who is engagee, right? He took to house of soon to be his father-in-law, and we see that the purchaser is responsible even for honest that happened, that animal, you know. And here it's not, so it said, Azal velo izdebana. So he went, the potential buyer, the one who wants to do the purchases. So he went there and the donkey wasn't sold. So he wanted to return it. Ubahadei deka'ata itnis. So on the way, something happened to the donkey. So he lost. They didn't specify. Ata lekamei de Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman is a well-known Talmudic judge, rabbinic judge. Chayavei. So Rav Nachman put the responsibility upon the buyer to pay, even it was honest, even it was beyond the control of him. So that's basically contradicted to previous Braita, and that's the way Gemarrah asks. הייתי רבה, או סמתי רבה לרב נחמן, נאנסו בהליכה חייב ובחזרה פטור, מפני שהוא כנושא שכר. So why he's responsible? אמר לי, חזרה דהי הליכה היא. So he said, that return, that's the fellow who took the donkey as the way back of this one is considered like the way to the recipient. My tama, what's the reason? Svarahu. This is a very logical reasoning. He said, or even on his way back, if he found an opportunity to sell the donkey, wouldn't he sold it? So what you see? So the possession of the animal applies to the entire time. So that applies to going and returning in an equal way. You return responsibilities, the borrower return responsibility until he's actually returned the animal to its owner. So the Gemara said, follow the Mishnah, if someone said to his fellow, Shmor li ve'eshmor lecha, so it's like exchange of favors. Safeguard my property for me, and I safeguard your property for you. So they said, Shomer Sachar. So he is basically a paid guardian. Ve'amai, and why? Shmira ba'be'alim hi. So this is a case of safeguarding with its honor, because there is a principle that a bali, as a shomer, is exempt from paying for the damage if the owner of the item is present with the guardian or in his employ when he is safeguarding the item. אמר רב פאפא, דאמר לי, שמור לי היום, ושמור לך למחר. He asked him, safeguard my property today, and I'll safeguard your property for tomorrow. So at the time of his safeguarding, the owner was not in the guardian's employ. תנו רבנן, שמור לי ושמור לך, שילני ואשילך, שמור לי ואשילך, שילני ושמור לך. It's all different kind of exchange favors. כולם נעשו שומרי שכר זה לזה. Everyone became the paid guardian for each other. So the Gemara asks, ve'amai, why? Why the whole this liability? Shmira ba'be'alim hi. It's the situation of safeguarding with the owner. אמר רב פאפא, דאמר לשמור לי היום ושמור לך למחר. Okay. Hanhu ahaluye. So there were certain ice plant. So that's basically people that selling this herb that you, in those days, they used to place garments in the, it's like the shir hashirim, mor ve'aolot. V'chol yom ahave ape le'echad minayu. It's the time of perfume. You see, it's the midrash about Yosef when the Midianites sold him. Anyway, v'chol yom ahave ape le'echad minayu. So each day someone would bake a bread for the entire group. Hahu yoma amru le'echad minayu. Zil apeilan, come and bake for us. Amalu nitru li glimai. So he asked them, come and safeguard my clock for me. Adeatu pashu bevignu, until we returned from that bakery, so they didn't watch properly, and basically it's an act of negligence, and it was the clock was stolen. Rashi said it was that particular day that he's supposed to do it anyway, to do the work. Ato lekamed Rav Papa, chayvinhu, he obligated them to pay for that. Amu lerabbono lerav Papa, amai pshia ba'alimi. So they ask why it's a negligent by the bali while he is with the owner, as the owner of the clock was baking for them. At the time the clock was stolen due to their negligence. Ikasif. So, in a way, Rav Papa was embarrassed over his apparent mistake. So then it turns that they are drinking beer. So they he basically drank beer when they watched over his clothes. So, meaning when he left his friends, he didn't go directly to bake, he went to a bar or whatever and he drank beer. So therefore, the moment that they start watching over this clock, the person was not doing the job, and it's not considering shmirah ba'alim. So it means Rav Papa was not mistaken by his obligation, deemed them liable to pay for the clock. This will be good. The one who says that in case of negligence by a guardian, while he is with the owner, is exempt. Why? Because that's the reason. As we said, but the one who said that in the case of negligence he's liable, even while he was with the owner, why is Rav Papa embarrassed? That day was not his turn to bake. They asked him to bake for them. He said it was kind of payment for baking for you. When it's not my turn, you should watch, you should safeguard my clock. So they are basically shomrei sachar. 81b, ad de'ata igniv. Before he came back, it was stolen. So they enter before Rav Papa, he is deemed them that they're liable to pay. אמרו לרבנו לרב פאפה שמירה בבעלימי, איכסיף לסוף עגלי מילתא דאישא דשחרה ושתי. So it's not the case we serve regarding with the owner. Hanu betrayed avuka masgu beorcha. Two people are going in the way, אחד אריך ואחד גוצה. One is tall, one is short. אריך הרכיב חמרה והבה לסדינה. The one who's tall was riding a donkey and he have a sheep. גוצה מכסה סרבלה וכמסגה בחרי. The small one, the short one, was covered with the woolen cloak and he was walking on a foot. כמעט אל נער השק לסרבל לעבוד ולביא חמרה. So when the short one reached the river, he took the cloak and placed it on a donkey in order to keep the cloak dry. And he took that tall man's sheets and covered himself with it. So the water washed away his sheets. So he said it's liable. Why you did it? It's a borrower with the owner present. He was embarrassed. So then they discovered that the short man took the sheets without the tall man's knowledge and placed it back without his knowledge. So that's the idea that he was not borrowing, but a theft. Certain man who rent a donkey to another. He conditioned, and he said to him, be careful not to go by the domain of Nehar code, where is the water and the donkey is likely to drown. So go by the path of Neresh, that it's not water, so therefore the donkey will not die. He didn't listen, he went by the code and the donkey passed. So he said, yes, I went to the path of Narp code, but there was no water there. So it means that the donkey's death was caused by other factor. So obviously the Ritva and others said, even he changed from what he was asked. The way that the renter said that it wasn't the water there, and the death was because of other reason, so because he make a shinui, that's still not a reason for chiyuv. So Amar le Rava, Mali le sheker. Rava said, why should he lie? Meaning, if this man wanted to lie, that's the טענת מיגו. Ibaya amar le'anan bo'ochat neresh azli. He can say, I went on the path of Neresh, as the owner instructed it. Amar le'abai mal leshaker b'mkom edin lo amrinan. He said, why we will lie in the place where are witnesses? So that's migo versus anan sadeh. Since witnesses can summon to establish conclusively whether there was a water along the path of Neresh Pkod, the reasoning that the renter could have stated a different claim is not employed. שמור לי ואמר לו, הנח לפניי שומר חינם. So if he said, safeguard my property for me, and the other said to him, place it before me, so the second individual is basically shomer chinam, is unpaid barely. So the Gemara said, אמר אבונה, אמר לו, הנח לפניך אינו לא שומר חינם ולא שומר שכר. If he said, place it down before yourself, he's neither shomer chinam, neither a paid guardian, nor unpaid. בא לו, הנח סתם המאי, just place it what is, so תשמע שמור לי ואמר לו, הנח לפניי שומר חינם. הסתמה ולא כלום. So it means that if it was an unspecified statement, is considering nothing. So the Gemara said, Rabbi, quite the contrary. מידה אמר אבונה הנח לפניך, הוא דיינו לא שומר חינם ולא שומר שכר, הסתמה שומר חינם אבי, אלא מהקלקה למשלו מיני. So you cannot learn from this Mishnah, because that's a contradiction להלכה. למה כתנאי? מכניס ברשות בעל חצר חייב. You get a permission from the owner of the field, that's the Mishnah in Bava Kamma 47b. So if one brought his item into the courtyard of another with the permission of the owner of the courtyard, and there were damage there, the owner of the courtyard is liable. Rabbi אומר, בכולם אינו חייב עד שיקבל עליו בעל הבית לשמור. Says in all these cases is not liable, and only if the owner of the courtyard explicitly accept upon himself to safeguard the items. So it means this Mishnah referring to one who places his item in a yard without specification. And the Tanaim disagree on the question of liability. So it's therefore has a parallel applications in the sense of juxtaposition to the case of the Mishnah. So the Gemara said, Mimai. Dilmaat kan lo kamri Rabbanan tamela bechatzer. The barneturei, who you talk about the yard that you can safeguard it. V'chi amar li ayel the interlach. When he said, come and place it so I can safeguard it for you. But here the market is not a place that one cannot safeguard the goods. So he's actually saying, place it down and sit and safeguard to yourself. דיל היו לרשות הכבאי למשקל מיני וחייב לרשות היו להיטיב ונתר לך כאמר לי. אבל לך הנח ואנה מנתרנה כאמר לי, דיס ארגלתך הנח וטיב ונתר כאמר לי, לא ורשות הבאי למשקל מיני. So he needs so the owner of the item really require permission for him to put the item down in a public place. So because of this, there is no necessary connection between the two Mishnayot. And it's always remind my Chavrusa of Mordechai Shub, when we talk here, he mentioned to me the Harav Chaim Brisk. The Harav Chaim Brisk used to say that Dat Balabatim is contrary to the Das Torah, which means there's always people who think that they know everything, and the Dat Torah, what is the real halachot, and many times is the opposite. There's also important to know that in the Pilpul HaCharifta, he mentioned the Rosh and Tosfot. We didn't have a time, but the discussion, it's by just merely uttering a statement, Dibur mechayev or Dibur lo mechayev. Because if you tell me that's the way the Rosh said and Tosfot said, that one can be a shomer, a guardian, only maseh kinyan, only we make an act of transactions between the party. Or dibur be'alma sagile, or if you tell me that it's just uttering a statement, that's sufficient. So as we said, is a debate. The Rosh said that that dibur be'alma lo sagi, that just expressing in word it's not sufficient. But the Pilpul HaCharifta try to bring us sources that there are some cases that dibur be'alma sagile.